Okay, it's me, Geordie Pete Redding, on another edition of Hollywood Balls, and this is one of my favourite segments. And my next guest, well, it's a welcome back to Hollywood Balls for Toon legend Warren Barton. One of the greatest games in Newcastle's history, you might remember, was that famous Tyneside night where we defeated the mighty Barcelona. So here for his favourite 90 minutes is Warren Barton. Hi, Warren.
Hi, my friend. How are you?
Yeah, we're very good, thanks. How are you doing?
Yeah, we're good. There was a lot of games to pick from because I've had a lot of good memories up with the Toon and that. But this one's a special time, as you said, when you play someone like Barcelona, like Figo, Ronaldo, Luis Enrique. It doesn't get any bigger than that. So it was a special one. But there was plenty of good nights out in Newcastle in my time. And
the thing is, Warren, as well, you know, as well as we fans always think that we pick the games that we want to, but it's always nice to hear from the players as well, you know, because it's one thing for the fans, but like you've just said, you know, you reel off those names. I mean, absolutely incredible night. And getting into it, ironically, that this game came off the back of a visit from your old team, Wimbledon, a game that the Toon lost, but you were on the score sheet, funnily enough.
Yeah.
What was the mood before the Barca tie then?
It was very much excitement. You know, when you think of where Newcastle had been with KK in the times before in the old First Division, trying to get out of there, got promotion, and then to see us in, you know, we've not had European nights for many nights beforehand. I know Antwerp, the season with KK, with getting into the Premier League, but this was a Champions League. This was with the big boys. And as I said, it doesn't come any bigger. So there was a lot of excitement, a lot of focus. As you said, maybe half our eye, obviously, against Wimbledon, was looking forward to that game. It was such a big occasion. I think when you look at the changing room as well, it's myself, you know, I've been told at 16, 13, you're too small, you're never going to make it. Yeah. And then you're playing in Champions League football. And any top-class player wants to be playing in Champions League football. And we've done it. You know, we'd had a chance of being in cup finals, and obviously the season before going so close with Manchester United for the league and the league beforehand. So it was all building up to that occasion. But again, a lot of excitement, a lot of unknown, a few nerves here and there, if we're being totally honest, because as I said, it wasn't like as if we was playing Olympiacos or Porto, who are still big European teams. It was Barcelona, and with all the history that comes with that and the excitement, and at St James's Park, it was building into a bit of a frenzy.
And given the previous Champions League results, it was going to be a mammoth ask, wasn't it? Really, when you look at it on paper, what was the sort of pre-match feel, and in fact, any pre-match instruction from Kenny?
Yeah, and also as well, don't forget we'd lost Alan Shearer. You know, we'd lost our leader, our captain, and our goal-scoring machine. Les Ferdinand had left, so there was a big void. So we all looked at Tino, and these are the type of games where anyone that knows Tino Asprilla, he rises to the occasion. And you could just tell the couple of days before that he was in the mood. He was very relaxed and loose. But he was focused as well. And we touched on the fact with Keith Gillespie, with his pace on that right-hand side. We knew how Louis van Gaal, with the Dutch mentality, that he wanted his fullbacks to push on, like Sergi, who's obviously Spanish, but obviously been given the instructions by the coach to push on, that there was going to be space in behind. And our plan was to try and utilise that space, whether it was with Tino. We had John Dale Thomason that would come in the hole if we needed to. But if not, we was going to use Keith's pace on that right-hand side and try and exploit that as much as possible. It made my job a lot easier because all I needed to do was feed it into them areas. And it worked off. We got, any game like that, Pete, you need to get the first goal. And the place lit up once we got that first goal. And then the rest of it, we're riding on the wave. So, it wasn't just go out and play. There was a mindset. Yeah. We knew they would try and pass us to death. We knew they was never really going to run in behind, but they would try and pass us through the middle. As I said, with someone like Rivaldo, Luis Enrique, Figo, the list goes on and on and on. So we knew set pieces, we might have a chance. And also we knew if we played it a quick game, they would be uncomfortable. And that's what we did.
You mentioned Keith Gillespie there. We'll get on to him, but I've got to mention Kalina was the ref, and it doesn't matter, you know. I mean, you're talking about all of these international stars playing, and the stars of the Toon as well playing. But Kalina was a star in his own right. But one of his first actions was, funnily enough, to book David Batty.
There's a shock. But again, I think that showed the magnitude of the game, that UEFA had put someone like him in charge. So not only arguably at the time the best referee in the world, you've got some of the best players in the world coming to Newcastle. So yeah, I mean, he set the tone early, and I think we all know and respected him as a referee, that he would let things go, but if you went across that line, he would book you. And then if he give you them staring eyes, you knew you was in a bit of trouble. But to be honest with you, David Batty wasn't scared of anything. So I think, again, that was another way of setting the tone, of setting the tone that it was going to be a battle. It was going to make it as much as a Premier League game as we could, if we could keep that energy level going. And when you've got, 36,000 Geordies screaming at you at the time, it wasn't the big, 52,000, it was 36, but it felt like about 76,000 Geordies screaming at you. It give you that lift and that belief. But even walking into the stadium beforehand, Pete, we'd park our cars in the car park underneath and walk along, and just seeing the whole stadium with the Champions League stars in the stadium. The music was playing. They was doing a bit of rehearsal. It just had a special feeling. There were stars in the air, and there were stars on the field as well.
There were certainly stars on the field, and I mean, obviously, we know about Tino and his hat trick, but you just mentioned there, Keith Gillespie. I mean, he had an absolute worldie, didn't he? Do you reckon that was his greatest game in a black and white shirt?
Yeah, I think no doubt it was. He'd had a few, and I had the privilege of playing with Keith and Alberto Solano, and I throw Raw Fox into it as well, because Foxy was there when I first come. But me and Keith hit the ground running, because maybe it was simplified, our game, that I would give him the ball and he would open his legs. It wasn't too intricate. And Keith, we had a lot of success, particularly the season where we come so close in the. I know David and Bez and obviously Ginola got a lot of credibility and a lot of praise in that season, but Keith was outstanding as well in that run-in with the Premier League. But I think that was no doubt his best game. He was on fire. It was simple, it was effective, it was ruthless, and he enjoyed every minute, because once he got going, and he just thrived off the energy of the stadium and the fans, because it was simple but so effective.
My place in the stadium that night was in the East Stand, funnily enough. And,
oh wow! Okay.
Yeah, and we were right on the Leazes end 18-yard box. So such a great view. It's well remembered that you went in at half time 2-up. I mean, what was the message at half time? Was it just more of the same, please, or was it was it consolidation ever a plan, or what was the vibe?
Don't bloody upset them. that was it. No, I just go back to the start of the game. We was doing the warm up before, and you have that team picture together, and Tino just put his arm around me and give me a little flick of the ear, or however Tino would do it. And we went into the game very confident. Like you said, we're off the back of losing against my old team, Wimbledon, which was, a big disappointment. But, then to go into it, everybody was focused, everybody was driven for that. So when we got in at half time, we sort of knew we was playing well. We knew we'd limited their options. We knew we was playing to our strengths, and it was hurting them. And Kenny had said to us, get the next goal, and that could kill the game off. Although it's, we'll go a little bit later on in the game, but we knew the next goal would be important. And we knew if we kept the tempo up for another 15, 20 minutes, and that's what you try and do as a team, is that you get through your half, and then you go in and say, right, the next 15 minutes, we're going to be solid. If we can nick another goal, great. But it was our mentality, and it should be our mentality now, that we go on and win games, not just try and hang on and grind a game out. It's not in our DNA. When I say us, I mean the fans, the club, the history, and anybody that manages or plays for that club. It's not just to survive and hang on. I know the games are important, and money and everything else, but we're in the business of entertaining.
Exactly.
And we had a team that we felt that we could maybe put down, and it was Barcelona. Let's make no beans about it. It was Barcelona. So we knew the next goal would be vital. And we just said, let's just keep turning them. Let's just keep making. Let's get it out to Keith. Let's keep, taking our chances. And Tino, if he gets in there, He just said, put it in, Keith. Gillespie, he always called him Gillespie. Gillespie, put it in now, and I'll get on the end of it. And he did. He was magnificent.
Simple
and as
game,
I said,
isn't it?
yeah, it is. I mean, that's what, it is a simple game. Pep now is pass and move, and Klopp is press. It is a simple game. It is, you play to your strengths, and you play to what the DNA of the club is. And that's what we did. And, as I said, lucky enough, we got the goal. But we was conscious. We knew Kenny said that. Kenny said they will have a spell, and we've just got to ride that. And for the last 20 minutes, you was there. We was riding it. I mean, it was all hands to the pump, and they got angry. They got their quality.
Yeah.
But I just felt we'd done enough with the soccer gods in that first hour to hang on and have that night and have that occasion and have that time of going through, and particularly Tino, because he had been patient. It'd been frustrating for him. And he's still living off the back of that now, because I've seen him do it with the Champions League show. But as I said, on that game, he was unplayable, but so was Keith. And the rest of us did our job and allowed them to exploit their weaknesses.
It's funny you say that. Kenny saying that they were going to have a spell. I mean, it was still the talk at half time, and funnily enough, another game like that, even is football fans in general, not just Newcastle fans, but it's. You have more of an effect because you're on the pitch. It's more nerve-wracking for the fans because, like you say,
no, it's not. No, it ain't. You try and be in that locker room knowing that you've upset Figo, Rivaldo, and Luis Enrique. You're all right. You can go and have a beer and a pie. So you're okay. So yeah, don't tell me it's not nerve-wracking when you go home eventually.
Well, funnily enough, you say what a big night it was for the city, for the players and the fans. But did you know, just as an aside, something else that was going on that night? Oasis were actually playing a concert in Newcastle the same night. Yep. I mean, what a night for the city it was! Unbelievable.
They should have put it back. They should have put their concert back until about 10 o'clock, and it would have been rocking.
It would have been absolutely.
I think he put a shirt on as well, didn't he, Liam?
He did, yeah.
Shirt. Yeah, he did. Good man.
He did. He put the black and white on. Fair play to him. You say when it got to 3-2, obviously nervous for the fans, but let's not forget Shay Given and all this, because he made some absolute worldy saves right that near the death to keep us all in it. Yeah,
I mean, as I said, I've got so much respect for Shay as a person. We went through a lot as well as young players at the club where, with Rude Hullet, and that's another story. But he was outstanding, Shay. He improved on his kicking. He was still only a young player. Mind you, he did make a bit of a balls up for the one that he dropped, and they got a tap in. So, but he was outstanding, as I said, and his whole Newcastle career, a little bit, as I said, the likes of Rob Lee or Gary Speed or Alan, he give everything for the club, and that's why he's so well liked and so well respected in the game. But he was outstanding. He needed to be. We all needed to be, because it's, let's repeat ourselves. You're playing against arguably some of the best players in the world, and Figo was one of the best players in the world at the time, and against a club that's used to winning trophies and winning tournaments. So we knew it was coming, and we needed him to stand big. So he come up with some big saves. But we had some chances as well. We had a couple of half chances that we could have maybe put it away. So it was just a great football occasion. I think there's the atmosphere, and it's nice for me as a player to hear about your feelings as a fan. Because we get it, and me and Les have always spoke about it, or David or Rob Lee, about the fans, how they go on it. But it is, you go in at half time. We're professionals, so we're in that zone. You go and have your beer, and you go and bump into someone in the bathroom, and oh my God, are we going to hang on? And what a night we're having! And don't change your seat. Make sure you stay where you are. All them type of things, and that's quite refreshing for us as players to hear.
And again, what was it like? Sort of, I can imagine the changing room was pandemonium after the game. But did you get any interaction, sort of after the final whistle blew, to walking down to the changing rooms with the Barcelona players? Was there any chat after?
Yeah, no, I was with Luis Enrique. We swapped shirts, and he just said, "Well played." He said shaking his head because they was disappointed at the end. They felt they might have got a point out of it, but he just looked around and said, "A great game, congratulations." And I said, his English wasn't magnificent, and my Spanish isn't great, but just completed on what a great game it was. But he, they was frustrated, but he said, "Congrats and good luck." And I think that speaks volumes of him.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was more half time. I noticed more than anything. And when we went in, obviously we got a bounce, and the look of there was a lot of conversation with their players. There was all like, whether it's the back four talking, the goalkeeper was with Nadal, the midfield players, they was trying to sort things out.
Rattled.
And obviously, rattled, and just what the hell was going on? This shouldn't be happening. It was more at half time. After the game, it's that professionalism, shake hands, respect for each other, swapping the shirts if people like to do that. But yeah, I mean, obviously there was totally different moods. We could have stayed out there all night celebrating, but we knew the bars closed at 11, so we wanted everybody to get in the bar and enjoying themselves. So as I said, but it was more half time, Pete, that you realised that there was they was a little bit shell shocked.
You say to get out and get into the bars. Tino famously partied with some females in Colombia prior to the game, according to the press. Did the players?
He should have done that. He should have done that every game then.
Did the players have a night out in the Toon after, or was it just sort of? Did you save it for a special night out?
No, I think we saved it because after a game and that, there's so much of a high. Yeah. And we all go into players' lounge and we see the wife and the kids or girlfriends or mums and dads, and there was just a big sigh of relief. And then we was in the next day training, and I just remember all of us just like there was a quietness after all the euphoria, like with Derek Wright, the high fives, and Terry McDermott, and there was just a lot of like that took a lot out of us. That was a special game, and whether we was in the bath or the showers or just chilling out in the changing room afterwards, and then we all went into the bar, the players' lounge, and there's alcohol there, but that we wasn't, we'd have a beer when we needed to, but it was more just to take stock of what had just happened. And obviously Tino was getting dragged around everywhere because he was man of the match, and Keith, and I just remember staying in the players' lounge with the families and the kids for quite a while. Normally people would slip off and disappear, but Johnny Barnes was there and people like that. We was all just hanging around and just having one or two beers and just relaxing more than anything. Yeah, just soaking it all up. And then the next day we was in, and as I said, we'd make a plan for a Monday night somewhere in when we didn't have a game and we had a day off. But it was just more of reflection of what had just happened and a bit of pride, because it was something special. I know it's only a group stage and other players have won Champions League medals and things like that. But for us, it was a step in that direction of, competing for Premier League, being in European football, going to cup finals, making Newcastle that they are a team that can play. And obviously Sir Bobby did it in the early 2000s when they went to places like the San Siro and Inter Milan and Juventus. So, that was the first step going forward in the Champions League.
And it was absolutely massive. I'm just going to bring you crashing back down to earth with something that you said in that remembrance there. You say that, and it's something that I've said for quite some time to anyone that will listen. It is an entertainment game, and I'm not just talking about Newcastle, I'm talking about the sport in general. But what you hit on there is something that Newcastle fans currently, personally, it's no fun to watch. Yes, we know that there's this new style of sitting back but it's just I've got to be really honest, Warren. It's absolutely dire, and I wouldn't mind if they could do it, but the team that's set up to do they can't. You need a team. I think it's a very tricky skill to be able to pull off. And the one thing that you've got to be able to do is when you get the ball is keep it, and that just doesn't happen. So it's not great, is it?
No, I mean, Steve and Rafa was a little bit the same. They want to sit back and then break on the counter attack. But if you're defending so deep, and that's what I've said with, whether it's been Rafa or Steve in the past, that we've got the personnel to put pressure on, particularly now with Wilson up front. You've got Fraser who's hungry, Almiron who wants to close people down. You've got Joe Linton has shown in the past that he can press and go forward. And at home as well, we've got to start on the front foot, and we've got to be entertaining the fans. And like I said about the game against Barcelona, we thrived off the energy of the fans, but we set the tone. The players set the tone in that stadium. and the fans would do it. If you see Wilson closing, and I've seen it myself watching the game, pressing, winning the ball up the final third, making the other team uncomfortable, the place starts rocking because they haven't seen it for years. And you know, it's a dangerous game if you're trying to say we're going to defend and then break on the counter attack. One, you've got to be able to keep the ball. Two, you can't keep the ball in your own final because you're in your own half at the time, most of the time when you get it, and it's 5 across the midfield. It's Newcastle United. We've got to put pressure on other people. You've got to change the mentality of the players and let them go forward and express themselves. And, you know, if we lose by having a go, you can live with that. And I know Steve Bruce and Rafa say, well, my job is to keep you in the Premier League. No, your job is to make us successful in the Premier League. Newcastle is not a club to survive in the Premier League. That's my opinion. You know, if Mike Ashley was sitting here and I would say this club should be challenged. Look what Everton are doing with a coach that wants them to go for Wolves, Leicester. Don't tell me Leicester have got better players than us. It's just the way. I know they did it yesterday against Arsenal, sat back and let Vardy go on there. But normally they're playing high tempo, putting people under pressure and trying to win games, particularly at home. I'm talking about home games. When you go to other games, listen, we did it sometimes. We sit back and we knew with Gillespie or David, we'd get a chance. We did it at Spurs. We did it at the White Hart Lane. Let them have it. Give it to David and Keith, and we win 2-0. You know, so we're not trying to say we didn't used to do it. But Pete, at the moment, every single game we go in, it's like we're playing not to get beat. Now that's not fair to the fans. And it's not fair to the players.
And even then, you know, the way it's set up as well, invariably, and with Newcastle, what's the game plan once they concede? You know, I mean, if they concede in the first half, that sit back thing, it's gone there. It's out the window, isn't it?
Yeah, no, I mean, like you said, it's a dangerous game to play, particularly when your personnel is not set up to do that. And, you know, I look at the players that we've got, and I said it at the beginning of the season, I was really excited with the new signings. We went to we went to West Ham and got a result. I'm thinking, go on then, build on that. But we didn't. We went backwards again. We got beat in a cup. We got beat. And then it's like, let's go back to not getting beat. Let's just grind out a result. Let's just see. And at the moment, because there's no fans in that stadium, they're getting away with it because they may not listen to social media. They may not listen to the papers. It's easy to turn that off. But if you go to a game and you have 52,000 people that haven't seen a live game for 8-9 months, want to be entertained, and you're going to serve that up, there's going to be a lot of unhappy people, and rightly so. And it's a shame because the new players had come in. There was a little bit of optimism, and there's a little bit of saying, you know what, we might be able to have a comfortable season, and you know, let's have a go in the cup. We get knocked out the cup, and then now the pressure's on, and it's mounting again. But as I said, maybe not being in the stadium for the players and Steve, it might be a blessing at the moment because there's a lot of unrest. And I've seen it, you know, Kieran's come out, you know, Steve Howe's been very vocal about it. There's other players that have said certain things. And we don't want to be the old players that are grumpy having a go. We want to, all of them people want the best for this club because they want the best for the fans. Because we felt, and I've said it before to you, that we let you down. We didn't win an FA Cup for you. We didn't win the Premier League for you. We didn't get to a European Cup final when we got knocked out by Monaco. We feel that responsibility. But what we've got to do now is do the best for the club and try and go forward because we should be challenging higher up the league than we are. And as I said, there was a little glimmer of hope with the takeover, the new players, and now that's fallen away a little bit. But it can be changed. You know, it can be changed if you're just being positive and remember what Newcastle United is about. It's about the fans and about the city and about entertaining because that's what they want. They worked hard to be entertained, and at the moment they're not getting that.
And again, you know, we said when we spoke to you last year as well, it was a similar sort of thing. And we've said it to Bez and other and Barry Venice and people that have been on here. They get it, you know, they understand it, which is great. Now we don't want to end this on a sour note, so we'll keep that it's your favourite 90 minutes, and we'll hope against all hope that something may happen again very soon for the Toon. But again, a fantastic evening for the fans, great for the players, and of course Tino. Warren, we thank you so much for coming on and telling us about your favourite 90 minutes.
Absolute pleasure, my friend. I'm glad you enjoyed it.